All right, let's go ahead and use this cute stamp set today to inspire today's card. I think it's adorable. Has a cute little desk, a typewriter, and a lamp and a mouse, but we also have a variety of fun sentiments that are just adorable. So we have coordinating dies here as well, and I think what I'm going to do is start with creating my background, and I want to do kind of a little watercolory, splotchy background just to give this some fun texture to land on once I place all the other pieces on my card. So to start off, you can absolutely use watercolor paper if you'd like. I'm simply going to use 80-pound cardstock because I'm just doing something pretty basic here. So I will grab really quickly my paper trimmer. I'm going to trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4. And in the end, with my A2 card, that will give me 1/8 of an inch of margin all the way around. Okay, I also have a pink lemonade ink pad here that I think will be a good idea for color choice for my background. So I'm just going to put that on my mat. I also have some water here, so I'll just spray that down. And I'll also just put some blank water down here. Do not ask me why I called it blank water, but that's, it is what it is. Water without any ink in it. Okay, I'm just wetting down my paper so that once I go do the color, it kind of just melts into the background. Okay, so with my color, I'm just doing something really basic, maybe taking on more of a circular or oval shape here. Okay. You can add more or less, but I'm starting with this because I want to allow this some time to dry. And don't worry about this little splotch here because I'm going to end up adding some little flicks of ink here as well. Okay, I think that should be good. That desk is rather large though, so I might allow this to kind of, I have a long bristle there that is being a problem. Hold on here. I'm just going to trim that off. Okay. Let me see if I can kind of mend that a little bit. There we go. Okay. Again, just trying to take on more of an oval look. I think that looks good. Okay. And it looks like my margins are fairly similar, so I should be good. Now I'm going to let this dry for a moment. In fact, why don't I zap it with my heat tool? That way I can keep working on this, but I'm going to grab and turn on just my heat gun here, and we'll get this to dry really quickly. Okay, now that that is dry, the reason I want it to dry is because this next part, I'm going to just flick some paint on, and if it's not dry, then it just kind of melts into the background, but if it is dry, they kind of sit more on top. And that should be about good. Okay, so there is my back panel. I'm going to set this to the side to further dry while we work on our stamps. Okay, I'm bringing in 80-pound cardstock once more, and let's take a peek at the stamps and see what we want to do. I know I want to play around with, and now we can kind of also bring this back in and just see. Oh, that'll be really fun. Okay. You could do just the mouse with the typewriter, but I want to add the desk. I think that would be really fun. Okay. We also have room inside of the blank paper of the typewriter to also do some additional sentiments, which would be really fun as well. So I'm going to do this. There's two different typewriters. There's one with a paper that's detached, one that is already attached. I'm going to go ahead and use that one. Okay, I want the mouse and probably the lamp. I think that will all look cute. Let me see if I can get these all together here. And I like this because It's a very fun Valentine's Day idea, but you could just do it as a just because as well. Okay, I'm gonna do that first, and then, let's move this. I'm going to add a sentiment into the middle of that paper there. Okay, so I'm going to condition my stamps. Here we go. Have a sip of coffee and ink these up. Okay. I have a Memento ink. I'll link all of my supplies down below so you know exactly what I'm using. But I do want to color with alcohol markers next. So I want to choose an ink that will play friendly with the alcohol markers and not allow it to smear once I start coloring. Ooh, I think my mat's still a little bit wet from wiping it down with a wet wipe. So my Misty's kind of skating around here. Okay, ooh, there's a couple areas that are a little shallow. Now, is that desk? I think it's okay. I was gonna say it looked like the leg is a little wobbly, but we'll see. Okay, still a little bit there. Okay, there we go. Now, I'll add another layer just to make sure we have a really nice crisp impression there. And it is snowing outside today. I couldn't be happier. Everybody went to school in snowsuits, which is thrilling to me. And it's just gonna be a cozy day. Okay, I like that. A couple little shallow spots, but I might have put my stamp on there a little bit uneven, but it turned out pretty. Okay, this needs to dry for about 5 minutes or so, just so that that ink is nice and cured on there, so that when I go to, oh, you know what? I gotta do the sentiment, hold on. But when I go to color, it's nice and dry and doesn't smudge and smear into where I'm coloring. Okay, so let's get all of these placed back where they go. And I need to decide on my sentiment. So first I need to decide who I'm making this card for. I can't decide if this one's going to, I think this is gonna go to my bestie. So we'll do something a little bit more bestie related. I made a card last week. Was it last week? With the conversation hearts. I think that's going to go to my husband. Okay, so knowing this is going to my bestie, let's pick a fun sentiment. What can we do here? Okay, so we have, let me get to the back paper here so we can really see. We just have simple happy Valentine's Day. I love you. I really like the, I could have just texted because we text a lot. And then in the inside do, but I made you this card. I think that would be fun. I also like you light up my life. The only reason I might not do that one just yet is because, I don't know if I'm going to use the lamp yet. I want to see how it turns out, and I want to see how it all fits on here. I don't want it to be too cluttered. So I'm going to do, I could have just texted, and then you have to remind me to do the inside of the card. I always get asked, what do you do with the inside of the card? Honestly, I leave pretty much 100% of them blank because I like to have a lot of room to write. My friends, when I was younger, they used to call me typewriter hand because I have just very, I don't know, I'm a perfectionist. I know, I'm trying not to be. It's something I'm working on, but I'm just very particular about my penmanship. So I like to have a lot of room to write. I think that looks good. So there we go. Kind of interesting that I'm doing a typewriter when my nickname was typewriter hand as a young kiddo. But I just have always enjoyed penmanship. I have, gotta admit it. Okay, I could have just texted. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's so true too. I love this. Okay. Oh, sorry about that, everybody. Okay, coffee kicked in. One sip and I'm ready to go. Okay, let's put that to the side, clean this off, and I'm gonna go figure out what Copic markers I want to use to color this card. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my card base And I'm going to place these together. That way, when it's time, I know that those stamps are there because I need to re-stamp there. Okay, now let's do markers. Okay, so I took my panel over to my little Copic area to get some colors. These are the colors that I chose, but I will also list them down below for you. That way you know what I'm using. All right, so let's go ahead and start. I also want to pull, this is the new Copic Acrea marker, and this is their white. I did a whole video unboxing these new markers if you want to check it out. These are neat. They paint on pretty much anything, glass, wood, paper. So these are really fun. However, I like to use them for my highlights. So I'm going to bring that in here so I don't forget. And I think what I'm going to start with is, I might bring a C00 in as well, just for the paper. So I'm going to start with the mouse, and I'm going to use E31 and E34. So, sorry about my hat. It was a hat day again today. My husband woke me up at 5. I've been trying to get up early just to either read, work out, or both. And I did so good yesterday, but today, goodness gracious, I just woke up feeling so tired. So this mama rolled out of bed at 7:20. Wake up time is 7:15. Whoops. And we all made it. We all made it, but I'm sporting a hat today. Okay, so there's my all over color, which is my lighter shade. I'm also going to bring in this E34. Okay, just like this. I'm going to add some shadows where I'd like. Around the little back area. Look at that cute little tail too. Isn't that cute? And maybe one right here. Okay, then back to my lighter shade, which is the E31, and I will feather that out into a mid-tone, just like this. And do that. Okay, I'm going to see how that dries back, see if I like it. Add just a tad bit more. There we go. Feather it just a little bit. Okay, let's watch how that dries back a little bit. Okay, E31, E34, and now I'm going to use this C00. This is going to be extremely light. Don't worry if you cannot see it. You probably won't on camera, but I am simply going to just add a little something to the left and bottom of this paper just to give it a little bump, because the paper is going to remain white. I don't know if you can see that, just barely if you can. Okay, but in person it just gives it a little something. Okay, so then I'm going to, let's do the typewriter. For this middle part, I think I'm going to do, I need to do some color testing here. So I have C. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to do, gosh, I need to think for a second. Maybe just the C1 all over here, probably. Yeah, I'm going to do, and I'm going to color in the keys as well because they're going to be a darker gray, so it's not going to matter that I color over them, and it'll be a lot quicker. And I want this typewriter to be pink. Oh, that'd be really cute. Okay, so I'll do that, and then I'm going to add the C3 as my shadow, and I'll just add it just to the top here, ever so gently, maybe a little to the side. Okay. And I'm going to keep this around because I think I'm going to use this in just a second. Okay, and then I'm going to feather that out with my C1 just to give that a little bit of dimension in there. Okay, I'm going to let that dry really, really good. and then I'll come back in and add the C5 to the actual keys, and then probably this little spacer bar. Okay, let's let that set for a minute. In the meantime, I will grab C3 once more, and I'm going to do that on these little side pieces. Fill those in really nice. I'm not going to do any shadowing. It's just a tiny space. There we go. Okay. And still waiting for the rest of that to dry. Okay, I'm going to skip down to my desk for a minute. The reason is because the next step I'm going to do on here is the pink and the spacer bar and the keys. This isn't quite dry yet. Let's zoom you in here. Sorry about that. This isn't quite dry yet, so I don't want to start coloring because the next color that I use will just start kind of seeping and bleeding into my gray. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute. I'm going to go with my BG10, BG11 combo, starting with my BG10, and I'm going to do all over color on this desk. Who doesn't want a nice mint desk? Oh my goodness. I think one of my favorite things about coloring is living out all of my dreams for decor. Oh my goodness, I would love a desk like this. So cute. Okay, I'm one of those that turns as I color to make sure I stay in the lines. So pardon me for just a moment. Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay. Again, adding that all over color. There. All right, now that we have a good first layer there, looks cute. What I'm going to do is grab my BG11. Actually, you know what, with this color combination, you have to let it sit for a minute because they are so closely related that in order for the darker to show up, which is my BG11, and it's darker by just a tad, in order for that to show up, it needs to go on when it's really dry. Okay, this should be good to go now, so I will go and add, should I do my pink or my black? Let me do my pink. So I'm using an RV21, RV23 combo. So I'm going to start with my RV21. And this is the same combo that I'm also going to use on the lamp. So this is my lighter shade. Now, what I remember about this color, I don't use this a ton, but when it goes on kind of highlighter pink, and then it tones down. Because I always kind of panic when I start with it, like, ooh, I did not mean to do that, but then it kind of tones down a minute. Okay. There's my all over color, very cute. Now again, we don't have a lot of room to play here, so I'm probably with my RV23. I'm going to just kind of focus on some areas where I can just add a little dimension. So maybe these corners. And just kind of pull that out. That way I just have a little bit of variation in color. Just like that. Okay, very cute. Now I should have enough drying time to do my C5. This is a really dark, probably not the darkest that they have, but nice dark gray. So I'm going to go through and just color in the keys and also the spacer bar. There we go. I'm going to also just add a little bit more to that. There we go. Okay, and then my spacer bar down here. Just like that. Very cute. Okay, I've given enough time for my dust to dry, so now I'm going to go in with my BG11 and I will add all of my shadows where I'd like them. So I'm going to focus on the drawers, just like that, just to give this a boost, just like so. Okay, grabbing the lighter shade, BG10, and I'll feather that out. Ever so slightly though, because I do want to have lots of highlights and shadows on this piece. Oh, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit. And let me do my lamp. Same color combination as earlier. RV21, RV23. Okay, there's that all over color. And you can do, you know, something different for the neck of the lamp. I'm just going to do it all pink. And then my shadows. A little bit there. A little bit there. Okay, going back to my lighter shade. Feather that out. And we're good to go. Okay, my last color is Y32. And I'm just going to do all over color on my little light bulb. Cute. Okay, let's add our accents and then we will trim these all out. So, loving how this looks. Again, this is going to be our backdrop. Now, with this pen, you do need to shake it. And I like to even kind of prime it on my mat a little bit. Think of it more kind of like a paint pen almost. Okay, and then I'm going to add my accent here. One here. Maybe like within here as well. That's cute. Okay, I don't know that I have a ton of room on my typewriter. Okay, and then also on my desk here. Let me prime that just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, just enough. I'm gonna let that dry. In the meantime, while that's drying, I am going to go ahead and get all of my coordinating dies all trimmed apart. I also want to add a stamp to my actual card base as well. I think I'm gonna do that cute I love you down here. That would be cute. Okay, so let me trim all of these apart to see which ones I need while that's drying, and then we'll run these through my die cut machine. And I like to use these wire snips just to help pull these apart. Proves to be super helpful. There we go. Now I'm going to use a smaller mini die cut machine to do this next part. So I'm just going to trim these two pieces away, and I intentionally left some blank space up here so I could have a scrap piece of paper for another project. Okay, so with some tape, I'm just going to start securing all of these little pieces. Excuse my voice. Everyone around us is sick and we have avoided it, but I feel like I potentially may be speaking too soon. We'll see. My little boy was sick last week, and luckily, or I guess it was over the weekend, luckily I avoided that, even though what is it about kids and wanting to drink only out of mommy's water bottle? You can't fight it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to be sick with him, but thank goodness I avoided it. But we'll see. Maybe God was like, okay, I'm going to let him get well and then it'll be your turn. I think that's one of the most merciful things that God can do, is allow you to be sick at different times. Although sometimes it's really hard when your kids are sick or you're sick and your kids are not sick at the same time, because they have all the energy and you're just like, oh, I want to take a nap. We will see how this plays out. Hopefully it's just a little froggy throat is what we like to say. Okay, there we go. Okay, got all of those all taped down. And let's trim these out. Okay, I need everybody to do me a favor. And in the comment section, because let's see, right now it's February 5th. And I think this video will go up on February 13th. So I need you to comment down below and say, have you mailed your card? Because if there's one thing about me, it's I love creating cards and I am bad about mailing them. They sit in a pile to be mailed and I just either forget or it just goes on the back burner. So everybody go down and say, have you mailed your card yet? Because it'll give me, if I haven't, I hope to say yes. I hope to say yes. But if I haven't, it'll give me that gentle nudge to get my booty in gear and get this card in the mail. I hope to impress you all and be able to say yes, because that's a week away. Okay, let's see here. Here is our desk. Okay, love this part of crafting because this is where it all comes together. So here is this piece, and I think before anything else, and see how it's a little bit wonky, that's okay. It'll flatten out once we put our foam tape down. So let's just get an idea. Oh my gosh, this is what I wanted. Okay, I love, love, love it. Okay, one thing I do want to do though is bring my Misty back in and do I want to do a little bit more stamping on my actual card panel. So there was, let's see here, stay there. I think there was just a simple I love you. Oh my gosh, I love that. And that's kind of why I left a little space there. It's so dainty and small. I think I'll do it. It'll be just cute. Just a little I love you at the bottom. So I kind of left a little bit of space for an additional sentiment. Let's get this tape down. I think I like that there. It's not exactly in the middle between the watercolored portion and the bottom, which I like. Okay, just add a little cutesy to the bottom. One. Oh, love it. I hurt you. To my bestie who is watching this, I hope that this has made it to your house and I love you. Okay, here we go. Here we are. And next, while we're here, so I don't forget, let's go ahead and do our card. Well, okay, hold on. I got to decide. Do I want a white card base or do I want to grab some pink? Okay, we are going with Pink Lemonade colored cardstock. I'll link where I buy my cardstock down below. And I have this at, 11 by 4 1/4. And we're going to score that at 5 1/2. And press that down. Okay, there we are. Now, before anything else, I want to add, oh, you know what? The reason I did that was so I could do my sentiment inside. So let's get that done so that I don't forget. I've been worried about forgetting that because I do not stamp inside my cards. So again, the outside said I could have just texted, but I made you this card. Okay, so we're gonna put that right up here so that I have enough room to write. Okay, looks good. Press that down. And I'm just going to use that same black ink. Just like that. Okay, 1 and 2. Love it. Okay, inside is all ready to go, not forgotten. And now I am simply going to add foam tape to the back of my panel to give us a little boost of dimension, but also to help straighten out that panel from being a tad wet. Okay, now I have the outside of my card. Actually, I'm going to double check that I have this the right way. Okay, perfect. And then I will take the liners off of my foam tape here so we can place this on our card. There we go. And there. Okay. Oh, I love that little simple I love you. That is so cute. So dainty and, oh, there we go. Button that out. There. Okay. Now let's go ahead and add the rest of our elements. So I'm going to, what I think I'll do is well, actually I can just put this down right independently. Okay, this should all be just fine. Oh my word, love it. Okay, let's do little foam squares. I have a combination of big and little, which makes this very fast. And I hope that it's the day before Valentine's Day, and I hope that this video finds you with all of your cards in the mail. You're all caught up. Just trimmed those in half for the little desk leg. And I will simply get everything placed on this card with my foam adhesives. All right, so I have my little lamp, and now I am going to use liquid glue for, let's put these scissors away, my little mouse. Okay, how cute. All right, liquid glue all over the back of this, and we'll just have him all. Gonna cover up that little handle, but that's okay. Well, I guess it's a her because this is me. This is me not texting and making a card and sending a card. Love this. Oh my gosh. It gives me kind of 80s vibes. It's just so fun. I love it. Okay, I am going to, because I have been lackadaisical, or at least slacking. I've been not good about doing my stamp on the back, and it's not that I've been forgetting. I've just been like, oh, I'll just save time and not do it, but I need to. So I'm going to add that right to the back of my card, and I am going to get this in the mail. All right, there is the final card. I am so stinking happy with that. I think it's so cute. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. Let me know if you are all done with your cards, if they are all delivered. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. I'm excited to continue crafting with you next week. There's some fun things coming up, and I wish you all a happy Heart Day.